If nature gave you short legs, you may struggle with the seat height on your motorcycle. Luckily, there are a number of mods that can help you get the seat a little closer to the ground. We'll outline your options in this video from the MC Garage. Unless you ride a cruiser or a small displacement bike, you're likely looking at a seat height of around 31 inches or even close to 33 inches on a bike like this Versus here. And unless you're 5'6" or taller, you may find it difficult or even impossible to get your feet on the ground at stops. I do want to point out that while it's nice and very confidence-inspiring to be able to put both of your feet on the ground when you roll to a stop, it's really not necessary. 1 foot will suffice as long as you have the experience and the balance to pull it off. However, if you want your seat to be a little bit lower so you can get your feet down, you've got a few options. The very first thing you should do is check your suspension sag. If you're short, you might also be light, in which case your shock and fork springs could have too much preload on them. That's going to make your ride harsh, but it's also going to put the suspension higher in the stroke, which is going to put your Pumas farther from the pavement. Checking your suspension sag is easy to do, it's free, and it's the very first step in setting up your suspension so that your bike behaves well. We've also covered the topic in MC Garage previously, so you really have no excuses. Your next best option is a lower seat, and there are a couple of avenues you could pursue here. Plenty of manufacturers offer accessory low seats that can reduce your seat height by as much as an inch while still looking totally stock. Alternatively, if you want to go the DIY route, you could actually remove the cover from your stock seat and shave down the foam to lower it. There are plenty of videos and articles out there explaining how to do this, and while it is a cheap and relatively easy mod, the end result doesn't always look good or feel good on your backside since the foam is going to be so thin. If you're willing to spend the money, you could also send your stock seat to a company like Sargent or Saddlemen to have them customize it. They're going to rebuild your seat with thinner, more comfortable foam, and they can even change the shape of the seat to better fit your butt. Finally, if a lower seat isn't going to get you close enough to the ground, you could lower your bike's suspension. However, this should definitely be a last resort, since drastically altering your bike's suspension is going to affect a lot of stuff in a bad way, including reduce your cornering clearance, affect the handling, and possibly render your side stand useless since it's going to be too long. The safest and best way to lower your suspension is to have a mechanic shorten your fork and shock internally. It's going to cost you a fair amount of money, but it's going to maintain your ride quality, which is obviously very important. There is, of course, a DIY method, but it needs to be approached with a lot of caution. Most rear suspension systems use linkages, and if you install links of different length, you can raise or lower your motorcycle's back end. Links come in a couple of different styles, from regular links with alternative hole spacing to adjustable ones that are threaded, so you can really fine-tune the height. Companies like T-Rex Racing offer link kits for a variety of bikes, and they also offer adjustable side stands so you'll be able to park your lowered motorcycle. If you're going to lower the back of your bike, it is really important that you also reduce your front ride height to maintain your bike's chassis attitude. To reduce front ride height, you typically just loosen the triple clamp bolts and slide the forks up. Sounds easy enough, right? But you need to be very careful, because when you move the forks up, you're going to be sacrificing clearance between the fender and the lower triple clamp, as well as the wheel and the radiator. So you need to be cautious and check that there's plenty of clearance when the suspension compresses under heavy braking. Again, because of all of these concerns, lowering your motorcycle should really be a last resort, and it's not something I would recommend if you don't have a really solid understanding of chassis geometry and riding dynamics. Okay folks, there you go, a number of modifications and things you can do to get your feet closer to the ground when you're sitting on a motorcycle. With all of that stuff in mind, you should never let seat height limit you from riding your bike, and you should keep in mind that some of the best motorcycle racers in the world are really short. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you subscribe. If you got a comment, leave it below. Until next time, ride safe.